So first and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High Yahweh, and we do so in the name of Hamashiach Yahweh Shah, and I pray that this lesson is further edifying to whoever it comes across. So sadly, we have now reached that time of the year where grown women dress like super sluts, and grown men dress like off-brand killers and clowns for a stressful 24 hours.
Look at this brother's shirt. Woo-hoo! You put yourself all the way in the garbage game, baby. But it looks good on you. I ain't never seen a muscle shirt with slack in it. Damn, you must have bought that before you started working out, didn't you? Then who he with? Who he with? Somebody raise their hand. Ain't nobody gonna claim it. Who he with? You and the grand too. Bless his heart.
And what makes it worse is the horde of sugar junkies that comes knocking on your door at random hours of the night, begging for chocolate like it's the new fix.
They're like little crackheads. Yeah, they got crazy eyes and they're all scratchy.
But what really irritates me is that there are millions of blacks, natives, and Latinos who will celebrate this day, not realizing this is one of the many customs invented by our Israelite ancestors who fell away from their heritage, as it was foretold in Jeremiah 17:4. Which means that if we participate in it, we are showing the Father Yahweh that we have yet to learn our lesson after over 400 years of captivity. Now at this point, many are probably confused due to them never hearing this information about our ancestors, and others might feel like I'm being a bit dramatic about a day that's meant to be fun with children. And this is why today's video will expose the true origins of Halloween, the identities of those who established the day, and in doing so, we will prove this is a pagan custom that shouldn't be celebrated by anyone calling himself a true believer in Yahweh and his son, Yahweh Shah. And Lord willing, whoever has ears to hear is further edified. So the day known as Halloween was originally called Samhain or Samhain. It was also celebrated in Europe by the Druids and Celtics, which are often mistaken for the same people due to their close relation, but are actually two separate Israelite tribes, as we will discuss in the latter part of this lesson. Moving forward, this day will be celebrated in honor of Samhain, the Druid god of death. And on October 31st of every year, the Druids will light a large fire and dance to invite the souls of dead loved ones into the home, while also using the fire as a deterrent to wicked spirits. This is in direct opposition to Leviticus 20:7, which tells us to put anyone entertaining a familiar spirit to death. But let's continue. Samhain was also a night of divination, and by this I mean the Druids thought this day provided the best conditions for using divinity. They would use this time to read fortunes of marriage, death, and whatever else was sought after. And this is wicked due to Deuteronomy 18:10 forbidding the use of divinity in any way, even if it's to tell those horoscopes that are full of cap anyway.
That has to be the most mansplained shit I've ever heard.
And to make matters worse, during this event, they will also wear animal heads as costumes to scare away evil spirits while reading these fortunes. And due to all the animals in the area being prepped for animal sacrifice, this could only mean that the costumes were made from the remains of the dead animals. So when you put your son in a Pikachu costume this year, remember that he is living out what could be the weirdest part of this custom. Now when we dig deeper, during this time the Druids believed the veil between the spiritual realms became weak, which in their minds allowed the spirits to wander the earth looking for a new body to inhabit. This means the Druids entertained the art of necromancy, which is the practice of communicating with the dead to tell the future, past, or explain the present, while also being an ancient way of raising the dead in general. This practice is shown to be unrighteous in 1 Samuel 28:15, when Saul raised Samuel from the dead, which led to all of Israel being sentenced to captivity in 1 Samuel 28:19. Also, this day consisted of human sacrifices in honor of false deities alongside many rituals, orgies, and cross-dressing, all of which are wicked due to Exodus 34:14 telling us not to murder, and Exodus 20:13 telling us not to worship other gods. Also, Galatians 5:21 forbids orgies. 2 Kings 21:6 shows any form of wizardry or witchcraft brings the Father, Yahweh, to anger. And Deuteronomy 22:5 shows cross-dressing is an abomination.
What in tarnation did he wear?
I don't know. Do you think he's...
On the train to Magsville? Absolutely. No doubt in my mind. I'm so sorry, Robert. A gay grandson, huh? I can't imagine anything worse than that.
Not Riley. Maybe there's another explanation. Maybe this is some kind of crazy sitcom misunderstanding.
No, wake up and smell the gay coffee.
With all this being said, so far the history of Halloween is far from righteous, but let's keep it pushing. So years later, the Romans would take over the Celtic lands, and over a process of 400 years, they kept the Samhain festival alive by splitting it into two events. One was Feralia, which means the commemoration of the passing of the dead, and the other was an unnamed day for their deity, Pomona, which brings us to the customs of Halloween. Pomona was heavily symbolized with apples, and some believe this is why apples and candied apples are given out or used in games during Halloween. Now obviously, this isn't the worst part of this pagan event, but it's still idolatrous representation, which goes against the commandment given in Exodus 20:3 and Exodus 20:5. But back to the subject. The next thing to address is jack-o'-lanterns, which also have a satanic origin. After the Celtic people merged into what's known as the Irish population, the new people group would continue creating urban legends to further their mythology. One of these being the story of Stingy Jack, which was a story about a man trying to trap the spiritual demon Satan to the man he never got sent to hell. However, when Stingy Jack died, he was supposedly banned from entering heaven, which caused him to wander the earth forever as a wicked spirit. On his path, he was given a carved turnip, holding a burning lump of coal to light the way, and upon seeing this, the locals began carving their own turnips, eventually downgrading to pumpkins as the tradition modernized. With this being said, in the series dealing with hell and the lake of fire, we learn the Greek depiction of hell is not a real thing. This makes the entire Stingy Jack story a fable, which means it should never be viewed as facts as it is written in 1 Timothy 4:7. Also, this man was literally forcing deals with the devil, so even if he did exist in any way, shape, form, or fashion, he will be a part of the wicked, not the righteous. Furthermore, if we entertain this story and believe an Irish man is walking the earth and carved pumpkins because of it, we are now entertaining necromancy and familiar spirits, which is a sin as we went over earlier in the video. And even if we don't carve pumpkins with the thought of Stingy Jack, we are still partaking in customs with origins and satanic beliefs. Now, let's move to trick-or-treating, which might be the most popular custom on this day. History shows trick-or-treating was first a voodoo ritual. During this ritual, families will leave out drinks and sweets for familiar spirits, and this practice has been watered down to people leaving or handing out sweets to children during Halloween. With this being said, if you decide to go trick-or-treating this year, remember that you are partaking in voodoo, which is an open invitation for wicked spirits to disrupt your life.
It's Halloween.
And what that supposed to mean, playboy?
I wanna go trick-or-treating.
Trick-or-treating, playboy? How you gonna go trick-or-treating and you ain't got no costume, playboy?
I got costume.
Oh, you got a costume. What you gonna be, playboy?
I'ma be a blood.
No, playboy. You ain't going nowhere.
You always make me stay inside.
Yup, that's right. And if you keep giving me that lip, I'ma smack it right off your face.
But now one might wonder, how has Halloween stuck around for so long if its origins were truly this horrible? Well, as we move forward through time, Samhain would eventually be adopted by the Roman Church due to them incorporating pagan traditions into the false religion known as Christianity, which gained them more followers throughout Europe, and due to this solidifying the event in European history, they were adamant on bringing their costumes with them to America during the colonial era, which led to Americans celebrating Halloween till this day. Also, the Roman Church renamed Samhain or Samhain to Halloween by altering the term All Hallows Eve. This was Halloween's original name due to it being before All Hallows Day, which was also a pagan festival originally known as the Feast of Lemures. This feast was originally celebrated May 13th until it was moved to November 1st by decree of Popes Gregory III and IV, which made October 31st the eve of All Hallows Day. Later, All Hallows Day will be changed to All Saints Day, which hid its connection to Halloween entirely. Now with all this being said, Halloween is definitely a pagan event. But now let's address the more interesting part of this lesson, which is the true identity of the Druid and Celtic people groups.